That doesn't look like vodka, Mark.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Saba, what is that stuff? You have to make some for me.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
You gotta bring me that story.
What? Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome. We learn, sponsored by Shalom Fogel, Nishmas Yaakov Zeb ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tivya Miriam Bas Gad, Yosef ben Tzion ben Yaakov Zeb, for Shalema for Moshe Aryeh ben Miriam, and for a great shidduch for Chaya Tivya Bas Shoshana Gittel. We learn, sponsored for a great shidduch for Batya Bas Sarah, by Baruch Ian Nishmas Yaakov Chaim ben Abba, Esther Bas Yona, Avram ben Shmuel HaKayin, L'Refuah Shalema for Liba Bas Anya. We learn L'Refuah Shalema for L'Refuah Shalema for Yosef Shmuel ben Miriam, and we learn for all those that are waiting children should have healthy baby, healthy mommy. Specifically, Hatzlacha to Ariel and Lior Bas Elza Rivka. Okay, we're holding.
My wife's Yitzchak Aryeh ben Sorrenta.
Yitzchak ben Sorrenta, Yochai ben Ruchama, Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel, Yitzchak ben Tzion ben Dusha. We're holding. Nechama Sarah Bas Miriam. How did the procedure go?
Okay, we'll find out in a couple of days.
All right, she should have a refuah shalema b'sek shecha Yisrael.
Amen. Thank you.
Okay, we're holding on the top of Daf Chav Beis Amud Aleph. So we said, well, they could take salt from the community stores, like we take when we bring a carbon. If Barry brings a carbon, he takes wood from the communal stores. So the Gemara right away pounces on that and says, "Ve'etzim de pshita le'letana de mishel tzibur," that it's simple that when Marshall brings a carbon, he takes wood from the communal woodshed and he doesn't have to bring it from the house. Minolan, how do we know that? So the Gemara says, "Detanya yachal ha'imer hari alai oila." I might think that if Marshall says, or Barry says, "I accept upon myself a burnt offering," Yavi eitzim misayich beisa, he should bring his own supply of wood. Kederach shebevi nesachim misayich beisa, just like he has to bring the libation from his own supply.
Already frozen?
Sounds that way.
Oh, it's warmer there than in Chicago.
Sounds that way.
Rabbi froze for a few words.
Oi.
Ruvain, how was your buckshot? Ruvain?
Absolutely delicious.
Right.
Whenever you're ready, guys.
As long as you're back up and running, we're good to go. You've froze for a minute.
Yeah, it says the internet connection is unstable. I don't know why. Are we good now?
Yeah.
So far.
Okay,
It's
so
unstable because me and Marshall are on.
it's enough you. So says the Gemara, because I might think that just like when you say Hari Alai Oila, you have to bring the wine from your house, I might think that you have to bring wood from the house too. Talmud Leimer, it says in the pasuk, "Alo eitzim asher alo eish asher ala mizbeach," on the wood which is upon the fire upon the mizbeach. Ma mizbeach mishel tzibur, just like the altar, of course, is the community property. Af eitzim ve'eish, so also the wood and the fire mishel tzibur comes from the community. Divrei Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon. That's the source of Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon. Reb Elazar ben Shamua Aimer, Ma mizbeach sheloi nishtamet shbei hedyet, just like the altar has to be that no.
Yeah.
Rabbi's going to have to make a hotspot again.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Looks like it.
Rabbi, you froze during Mama's bath.
Marshall, hang up so he won't freeze again. Come on.
No, Barry, when you came up,
You know, Rabbi says, let's every minute stop talking. Come on. Ma Mizbeach. Ma Mizbeach. Am I good now?
yeah, you got
Yeah.
So far.
Okay. So, Rabbi Lezman Shemuah, Ma Mizbeach Shalin Nishtamish by Hedyet, just like the Mizbeach had to be never used by a commoner, Af eitzim ve'esh, so also the wood in the fire shaloi nishtamish be'em hedyet. It can't have been used. Now that means that if you bring your own wood supply, it can't be wood that you already used in the backyard as a temporary baseball bat or a stickball bat. Ike beinayu charati. The difference between them is whether it has to be new. Says the Gemara, wait a second. We have a problem. Vatike lai, you can't use used wood. Vaksiv, if you remember, we talked about David HaMelech paying money to a Ravna who had the site of the Beis HaMikdash. So it says, Vaksiv ayoyma Ravna el David. Aravna said to David, "Vayikach vayal Adoni Hamelech hatoy be'inav." Let my lord the king take what's good in his eyes. Told this to David. Re'ei haboker la'ayla, take the cattle as burnt offering. Va'morigan, if you remember, Morigan we learned was a threshing instrument. Va'morigan uklei haboker la'etzim, and the accessories of the cattle you could use as wood. So you see, they used stuff that was already used for accessories, for threshing. Says the Gemara, no, Hakanami bechadati, that Aravna only gave him new ones that were never used yet. So now the Gemara says, my Morigan, we're not used to this word. What does this word Morigan stand for? So the Gemara says, Amar Ula Mita Shel Turbal. It's a bed of turbal. Marshall says the only thing that I know of turbal is turbulence. What is a Mita Shel Turbal? What is that? My Mita Shel Turbal. Amar Rav Yehuda Iza de Kurkisa. It's a goat-shaped threshing instrument that attached and went on the floor and had sharp teeth. The dashuba dishtoi, that they threshed grain with it. Amar Rav Yosef, Maikra. Where do we see this in the pasuk? Maikra, says the Gemara. Says the Gemara, we have a pasuk. Hinei samtich l'morek charetz. I have made you a sharp threshing instrument, chadush, a new one. Bal pipios, with sharp teeth, tadush haram. You'll be able to grind through the mountains. So you see, it's an instrument that does grinding. So far, we're good? Now, new Mishnah. Nisarev kumtza b'kaimitz chaverta. Let's say Mark brings a mincha, and Marshall brings a mincha. And the kmitzas got mixed up. Or b'minchas kahanim, if Mark's kmitza gets mixed up with Yitzi's mincha, which is totally burnt on the mizbeach. Minchas kayin doesn't have a kmitza; it's totally burnt on the mizbeach. Or b'minchas kayin mashiach, with the mincha of the kayin mashiach that's brought every day, 6 loaves in the morning, 5 loaves in the morning, 5 loaves in the afternoon, which is also burnt all on the mizbeach. B'minchas nesachim, the mincha that accompanies libation, which is all burnt on the altar. Kshera, it's no problem. Just Mark and Marshall's kmitza, even if they got mixed together, burn it all on the mizbeach. It's supposed to go on the mizbeach anyway. Rabbi Yehuda says a caveat. Rabbi Yehuda says it's okay if they're the same consistency. Oh, very interesting. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, b'minchas kayim mashiach and b'minchas nesachim psula. You see, a regular kmitza is a loig shemen to an isaron. 1 log of oil to an isaron. That's a pretty thick batter. But like the Menachos Nesachim, by a par, it's 3 lug, and ayil is it has, and the Menachos Kai Mashiach is also 3 lug, so that's a thin consistency. And when the kmitza of marks gets mixed up with the thin consistency, they absorb from each other, and it changes the consistency. So Rabbi Yehuda Aimer b'minchas kayim Mashiach and b'minchas nesachim psula. Why? Shezubali lasa ava. A regular kmitza has a thick batter because it's just 1 like to isaron, and zubali lasa raka. This is a thin batter. It's 3 lug a par, 3 lug the kayim Mashiach. Vein boila zumizu. They absorb one from another and they change their consistency. Okay. So now we're going to talk about, this is right up Marshall's alley, mixed up things. Right up Marshall's alley. Tanan Hossam, Dam b'mayim. If Marshall offered a carbon, and the blood that's supposed to go on the mizbeach, ki adam, that's the kapara, ki adam hu nefesh, the blood gets mixed up with water. So, do we again have, what do we have now? 38 Zoomers?
It was 39 a second ago.
So, dam b'mayim, if blood gets mixed up with, I really would appreciate if everybody would mute themselves. Dam b'mayim, if blood gets mixed up with water, so then it depends. Im yesh by maris dam, if the mixture still has the appearance of blood, kosher. Nisar b'yayin, what if it gets mixed up with wine? Well, you can't say if it has appearance of blood because both are red. So we look at the amounts and we view the wine as if it was water. We view the wine in the mixture as if it was water. And if there's enough blood that it would give the appearance of red, then it's good. Or nisar b'dam behema or b'dam chaya. Or if it gets mixed up with the regular blood of an animal or the blood of a beast, so you can't see if it has the appearance of blood. We view it as if it's water, and if it would have still, with that proportion, an appearance of blood, then you could put it on the mizbeach. Rabbi Yehuda says, I don't care if a dot of Marshall's blood of the carbon mixes with a huge amount of other blood or other wine, you still could put it on the mizbeach. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer ain't dam of, not wine, but if it gets mixed up with any blood of an animal, blood of a chaya, it can't be neutralized because ain't dam of atal dam. This is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion all over Shas, that min b'mina ilay batal, that even min b'mina afilu be'elef lay batal, and therefore it's not a problem. Rabbi Yochanan, ushneya mikra echad darshan. Both the Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda darshan the same pasuk. Now we know that on Yom Kippur there's the par of the Kohen Gadol, and then there's the soyer la Hashem. They're both done in the Kodesh Kedoshim and in the against the Paraychis and on the Mizbeach Hazav. And at one point they mix the dam of the par and the dam of the soyer. Now that's a problem. The dam of the par is much more than the dam of the soyer, so it should neutralize it. So for some reason the dam of the par doesn't neutralize the dam of the soyer. So the Rabbanan say it's because ein oilin mevatlin oilin. One offering can't be mevatel another offering. An offering has such a strong identity that one offering can't. We're unstable again. The blood of the par and the blood of the soyer are offerings. and offerings cannot neutralize one another. That's the way it works. One offering can't neutralize another offering. That's the reason why he holds, but that's only by the blood of the par and the blood of the sar. Blood that gets mixed up with wine is not the same thing. The wine is not an offering. Blood that gets mixed up with a dam behema it's not an offering. It's only restricted to par of the sar. Rabbi Yehuda says the reason isn't because of that. Rabbi Yehuda says that the blood of the par doesn't neutralize the smaller amount of the blood of the sar because min b'mina lo batal. So let's see that inside. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yochanan, Shnei mikra echad darshu. They both expound the same pasuk. V'lokach midam apar u'midam asar. You take from the blood of the bull and the blood of the goat. Now, hadavar yedua, shedama shel par meruba midam shel sar. The blood of a big bull is much more than the blood of a goat. So why doesn't it neutralize it? So Rabbanan Savrei, the Rabbanan hold, Mikan la'oilin she'ein mevatlin zeh that which goes up on the Mizbeach can't be mevat to one another. Each one has a cheshivas, it's a carbon, and one carbon can't neutralize another carbon, which then is restricted only to this case of the par and the sar. But wine would be able to neutralize blood. Blood of a regular behemoth or a chaya would be able to neutralize blood unless there's enough to give an appearance of the blood. Rabbi Yehuda says that that's not the reason. Rabbi Yehuda Savar mikan lemin b'minay she'ein batal. That one type that bloods don't neutralize because one type in another type doesn't neutralize. The Ran in Masechtas Nedarim explains this, that in order for neutralization, in order for bittul, for negation to happen, there has to be a koyach hamisnaged. There has to be an opposition. But if it's two of the same type, there's no opposition. And since there's no opposition, there's no bittul, there's no neutralization. So Rabbanan Savrei, Rabbanan hold, Mekan la'oilin she'ein mevatlin zeh zeh. So the Gemara asks, but why? Maybe the reason is like Rabbi Yehuda, that min b'minay lo batal. V'dilma mishum de min b'minay hu. Says the Gemara, well, Rabbanan counter, if it's trying to tell me min b'minay lo batal, then it should have given me a case not by a carbon. And to say that even there it's not batal. If it's telling me that min b'minay is not batal, and it's not coming to tell me that one carbon can't neutralize a carbon, then kidika amrit, then hashtadash min an oilin. Why do you give me a case of a carbon? If you would have given me a case where it's two of the same type, but it's not where it's two carbonis, so then I would say, like you, that the reason why there's no neutralization, there's no bittul, is because it's min b'minay, kidika amrit. But hashtadash min an oilin. But now that you gave me a case of two carbonis, par and sar, it's not because it's min b'minay, it's because that one carbon can't neutralize another carbon. The reason is mishum da oilin. So the Gemara asks an interesting question. Maybe you need both. Maybe it's not neutralized unless it's min b'minay, and they're both carbonis. The Gemara says, "V'dilma ad ika min b'minay v'aylan." Maybe you need both. Tarte l'tevusa. You need it to be min b'minay, and that they should be both carbonis in order that it shouldn't be canceled. Says, well, that's a good kasha. That's a humdinger. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Mikan lemin b'minay she'ein batal." Says the Gemara, why? Maybe it's the reason the Rabbanan, because one carbon can't be mavatal another carbon. V'dilma mishum da'ilanu. So the Gemara now says, Rabbi Yehuda says, if it's because it was a carbon, that one carbon can't be mavatal a carbon, so then you should have given me a case where it's two carbonis and it's not the same type. Then you would be right. But hashtadash mina min b'minay, now that you're telling me that it's two of the same type, the reason is because two of the same type don't neutralize one another. Min b'minay abata, mishum de min b'minay. So then the Gemara says again, but maybe you need both. V'dilma ad ika min b'minay v'aylan. You need both. It has to be min b'minai, and also they both have to be karbanis in order for it not to be neutralized. Says the Gemara Kasha. That's taka shver. Now, before we continue, so far we're clear.
It was spotty, in and out, but basically,
Yeah, I'm spotty, going through it spotty.
you're losing, you're freezing up for a few seconds, and then maybe a little longer, a little shorter.
The last couple minutes were clear. With no
Yeah.
break.
I mean, I froze since the last time you told me?
I don't think so.
Sometimes.
It's been on and off, but it's only for a couple seconds. We didn't miss much.
I don't know why that's happening tonight. We'll have to stay on top of that. I mean, I seem to have a very good signal over here.
The Rob is good now.
Says
Last couple of minutes were.
says the Gemara, Tanan, Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, Rabbi Yehuda says, B'minchas kayim Mashiach u b'minchas nesachim psula. If the kmitza gets mixed up with a minchas kayim Mashiach, which is, as we said, a very thin batter, and the kmitza is a thick batter because it's a lug in one isaron, while by the kayim Mashiach it's 3 lug, so it's a very thin batter. Psula shezu b'li lasa ava. One is a thick batter. V'zu b'li lasa raka. V'hein boila zu b'zu. So asks Gemara, I don't understand. If Rabbi Yehuda holds min b'minai is not bottle, if he holds min b'minai is not bottle, wherever Mark's oil is, it retains its status. So even if some of it went into the Kohen Gadol's chavitin, but it doesn't become neutralized, and therefore it still marks kmitza wherever it is. And the Kohen Gadol's stuff, if it's not neutralized, it's still the Kohen Gadol's thing, even if it wandered into marks. So it should be good. V'chi baila zu b'zu may have a min b'minayu. Amar Rava says, Kesava Rabbi Yehuda holds, Kol shu min b'minai v'davar echad, acher. Here, it's not just min b'minai, because it's not oil with oil, because there's also flour over here. So since it's oil with oil and flour, the oil steps away and the flour neutralizes it. And that's what the Gemara says, Kol shu min b'minai v'davar acher, solakes minai k'mi she'enai. We remove the oil as if it's not there. V'she'enai mina rabba lava mavala. And the flour neutralizes it. And therefore, each one doesn't have the same consistency anymore. And it's not Mark's oil that's by the Kohen Gadol's kavitin because it got neutralized. And it's not the Kohen Gadol's oil by Mark's because it got neutralized. So therefore it's a different consistency, and that's why it's no good. Okay, believe it or not, we finished the daf. That's kind of incredible.